What's up, y'all? Peace to ladies, fellas, queen of heaven, earth, ancestors, all that. Um, Tonight, I'm gonna be speaking a little bit on living. Um, Now, a lot of us human beings, we perceive living as being able to walk in the physical, right? Walking amongst other humans, being able to communicate with other humans, being able to, you know, do things, far as from a physical perspective, you know, physical activities, right? A lot of us think living is having all the money, having all the fame, having all the broads, right? Bouncing up and down on your Johnson. You feel me? A lot of us think that's living, but that's not necessarily the case. Living is being able to be free with no restrictions, right? How can you live if you have restrictions, right? You have things around you that holds you to a certain amount of being alive. Yeah, you can live from a third dimensional, what we would call a third dimensional perspective, but you being able to live freely from a spiritual perspective and from a physical perspective, you can't do that because that's not what they want for you. So it's a certain limit to how you live according to being in this type of system, right? A lot of people can't realize what's going on around the land because a lot of people don't know their culture. If you don't know your culture, you ain't gonna know what's going on around the land. So a lot of people are just stuck in this simulation to where they think this is just the normal life that's meant for us to live, rather than realizing that we in fucking war. You know, look at it at look at a grocery store, right? You get packaged food, you get canned food. Now, who gets the same? Motherfuckers overseas in the military. They get their food packaged and they get their food canned. They get the same type of treatment. Or it's we get the same type of treatment they get over there fighting these wars. Right? Why the fuck is our food the same as motherfuckers over there overseas? Because we in the same war they in. That's what that can only mean. All this shit that is around us is set up, right, for us to destroy ourselves and destroy each other. Ain't none of this shit around us meant to be here. All this shit is man-made. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care what you think. All this shit is man-made. We all living in this shitty ass system. All of us. And we all feel the effects of it. All of us. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. It don't matter how much money you got. Like I said, it don't matter what good you think you doing. It don't even matter. The result by anything that you think you doing is good, the result by it is that the world is still fucked up. And it's still some truth that's being hidden. That's the reality of it. You can't win in this shit because it's all controlled by something. And there's something we don't know nothing about. Right? Because now everybody's saying, oh yeah, we, got the land back and all this old shit, but a lot of people are not acting like they got the land back. Right? Because it's easy for you to say you got something back, but if you don't act like you got something back, then you ain't got nothing. Right? So you still got motherfuckers on the internet that's still trying to debate other motherfuckers' knowledge and what they putting out. Why the fuck is we sitting around debating for? What's the debate? If we know that this is our shit, we the real what they would call Indians and all that shit. If we know all that, why are we sitting around debating with each other? Why don't we start acting on our shit? Why don't we start communicating with each other again? Connecting with our communities? Why don't we start doing that? Why are we still bickering? Why are we doing that? The only way that could be is because motherfuckers is still trying to live in this bullshit. A lot of motherfuckers is not ready to start relying on each other rather than relying on the government that has been helping them since they could breathe. Because I remember I made a statement I think last month, and I was talking about how the government may try to do some shit where they may try to, like motherfuckers was talking about before, cutting off the internet, cutting off the power because they have the ability to cut off all this shit. You know, um, so I was talking about the government may try to cut off all this internet, cut off the power, all this whole shit. Motherfuckers wouldn't know what to do because they don't believe that we are capable of being able to provide for our community. Right? So they cut everything off. Motherfuckers gonna be like, oh shit, what the fuck we gonna do now? We ain't got no food, we ain't got no lights, we ain't got no heat. What the fuck is we gonna do? Right? But then it's gonna take one motherfucker out that group that's gonna step up and be like, all right, we ain't about to be just sitting around. We gonna get this shit done. Right? And then when they start seeing that everybody start remembering and realizing what they have to do to get our shit back in order, then you're gonna see motherfuckers like, damn, I ain't know nigga, we been like that. We been had that power to have our own shit in control. Motherfuckers just didn't believe in it. So then it'd be a motherfucker that have to stop like, damn, we could have been doing this shit all along, but we just didn't want to. Yeah, that's how it's been. Because we so unaware, they could have gave our land back to us a couple years ago and we wouldn't even know it. And probably wouldn't have cared because we wouldn't even know why the fuck they gave it back to us. And that's how we is now. Some of us. We continuously putting out information and receipts that this is our shit, that we've been here, right? And we are the ones that control our own shit. And then you still got motherfuckers that see that and be like, all right, and still don't do nothing about it. But want to be on internet talking about how spiritual they is. That shit don't make sense. And that's why we, you know, go to be in certain situations we be in. Because ain't nobody taking it serious. Because you have to understand that not everybody is us. So you gonna get certain people that ain't gonna understand what you talk about because they not us. That's the thing about it. Certain motherfuckers have the mitochondria of the queen of heaven and earth, and certain motherfuckers just don't have the mitochondria. Because it's all tapped into your heart. Your heart is the center of everything. If your heart is pure, right, and you have a pure heart and pure intention, right, then you will be able to have a right here on the land. If your heart not pure and you don't have pure intentions, then you ain't from over here. So instead of us reading everything with our hearts, we reading just with our physical bodies. That's why I said, when we talk about living, how's we living? We living from a physical perspective, but not a spiritual perspective. We're not listening to our hearts. We're not paying attention to what's going on. And that's why we're in this situation. Because this is why I was talking about, and I was talking about this shit when I was young. I was about 19 or 18 at the time, and I was talking about how we as a people, we as a community, we still focus on the money shit. We think the money is the way out this shit, but it's not the way out. Cause we never needed money on the land. The land is what makes the money for these companies. This land is worth trillions of dollars because the land is so ancient. This land had pyramids. This land had certain things that a lot of people wouldn't even believe existed. So this land is worth way more than what we think it is. And you would never be able in this system to be able to get the money, get as much money as the land worth, because they don't want you having no money because they know this your shit. But they can play the mind game and give you money so you don't realize the wealth that you walking upon, which is the land. And that's what they've been doing to us, and we always fall for it. We sitting around worried about paying a goofy ass bill, right? Rather than trying to build these motherfuckers that took our shit away from us, making them pay their shit. Pay us back. Making them pay us back for killing our women and our children, killing off our chiefs. Make them pay that back. Cause the motherfuckers that was in Rome, when you hear about the gladiators and you hear about the motherfuckers in the Colosseum, what I talked about in my last video, how they used to kill people and all that, those was basically rituals that they was doing. And those rituals had an effect on the land because it was negative energy. Right? So they was shedding blood on land to basically lower the frequency of the planet, and a lot of those Europeans was black. Those was the dirty Moors, right? And what I told you, those coliseums, the way it's structured, the way it's set up, it looked like these arenas you have today. These football arenas, these basketball arenas. It's basically the same show, it's just different activities. So everything is basically reacting itself out. That's what everything is doing. But we still trying to live off of fame and fortune and some good pussy. And we don't even know what the fuck is going on. Don't have no clue. Right? So you got motherfuckers around here, still wanna play the game, right? When the game is shit just about over. And it could have been over, but motherfuckers want to keep playing it. Why do you want to keep playing it? If you didn't play the whole game out, you then went through every level, you then achieved every rank. Why the fuck would you keep playing it over and over again? You keep playing it over and over again because you like it. You attracted to it. You like the game. You don't know why you like the game so much, but you just like it. It's something about it that attracts you to the game. You just can't leave it alone. And this is how we all is. We just can't leave it alone. Or I say that for certain people that, that's still lost in this shit, they just can't leave it alone. It offered too much. Right? Because when we talk about other communities don't have the problems that we have. We are the only community that have this type of problem when it comes to money. Don't nobody want to stop, you know, and focus on what really matters because motherfuckers get money. Right? And then we be so ignorant when we get money, we want to talk bad about motherfuckers. Motherfuckers always want to tell a motherfucker, oh, you broke, get your money up, bum ass nigga. Like, why is you doing that? That's not the type of shit we supposed to be doing. If one of the tribe members get a good amount of money in their hand, they supposed to share that with the rest of the tribe because we are one family. A man that does not take care of his home and take care of his kids, he's not a valuable man to society. No more is he a father or a husband. So you being a tribe member and you gaining a certain amount of money and you don't share that with the rest of your tribe members, you ain't no valuable clan member. You're not a valuable man. You're not a valuable person. You have no value. You don't mean nothing to us. And not saying that a motherfucker is asking for a handout, but this is just how we do. This is just what they would call family type of business. It's just how it go. But a lot of people just wouldn't see it like that. Where the fuck did homelessness come in at? How can we be homeless when we got all this land? We got wood. We got all this material on the land, but we got people out here homeless. Because most of our homes that we had, as far as castles, they after they killed us, they went inside of these castles and took a lot of our shit. Right? And through all the war conjures and all the murder and all the bloodshed and the energy being shifted to a lower scale, a lot of us forgot about these castles. A lot of us forgot about where we really came from. So that's why they fed us the bullshit that we used to live in pyramids and shit. Right? So you have motherfuckers like, oh, we used to live in these pyramids and the tombs and all that. No, that's another lie. You don't know where you really come from. So when you look at certain churches, and those certain churches is really castles. So they was castles, but then they was turned into churches. That's why still, by your own sake, a church is really your home because it resembles the castle, which will be the house of the mother. But it's just the philosophy and the ideology that has been changed to make it something that's really not normal to who you is anymore. Because it's not going off the right type of God, which would be Isis, the queen of heaven and earth. That's what make it different. But it's still the home. It's still the place you go. Right? Because the church is a part of the community. That's the place you go when you don't feel yourself, when you don't feel at ease with yourself. That's where you go, to the church. Just like the castle, that's the place you go. When you needed mental healing and you needed to, keep your energy in alignment, you go to the castle. You got witch doctors and all that do certain healing techniques on you, all that shit. That's all in the castle, right? So that's why the church is looked at as the place where you go for healing. All right, but motherfuckers wouldn't even know nothing about that. But the shit I just said, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I sound crazy to you. So, um, this is where a lot of us is stuck at with this shit. Is that we don't know who he is and we don't know what's going on. You gotta know what's going on and you gotta know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you ain't gonna know what's going on. Because you just see people on the internet talking about this type of shit and you think they just talking. But they really giving you real valuable information. See, here's the thing with people. This is how you know people are not mentally stable and in good condition. They won't listen to a motherfucker that's trying to help them and inform them to who they are, where they come from, and their power. Right? They ain't gonna listen to nobody like that, but they'll listen to a motherfucker that's been telling them the same shit for forever. Right? That Jesus is gonna come back and save your ass and get you out of your bullshit. They listen to a motherfucker like that, but a motherfucker that's telling them the real, they don't want to listen to it. Or you will listen to a motherfucker that's talking about shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But motherfucker that's really talking about something, you don't want to hear it. That just shows where you at mentally. You have a mental clog. You clogged up. So anything uh that's informing you to something that's true, you have no recognition to it. You can't understand it. But something that don't have any information to it, you can understand it with a clear view, because that's all your mind is accessible to. Because like I said, not everybody is who you think they is. Certain people you think is just regular people, they not just regular people. Most rappers out here nowadays be giving you the game on what's going on, but people don't want to listen to them because they rappers. People don't really take, I ain't gonna say not take them seriously, but they just won't ain't gonna listen because like I said, they rappers. But they be telling you real shit. You just gotta pay attention. Right? We all say it's a cold game in this world, but ain't nobody willing to try to change it. Why don't we start trying to grow our own food again? Let's do that. Let's stop relying on these motherfuckers to feed us food that ain't even real. Cause I don't care if you vegan or not. Everything you eat over here is not real. It's not real. And even shit, even down to the water. Most water you drink ain't even natural water. Right? So there's nothing for you to hold on to when we talking about living in this system. It's nothing for you to hold on to. It's nothing. Cause ain't nothing right. It's nothing for you to hold on to. Um, you can also see that certain people that certain people and you have been in contact with, you gonna start to see that they the same people they always been, right? Certain people, like I said, they don't have the ability to shift gears mentally. Certain people can only stay in one state of mind, right? So you have your people that, um, like I said, that can change and shift their consciousness and awareness of existence. And then you have your people that can't shift their consciousness and their awareness of existence, right? Because you have some that can be from over here, but they still just can't wake up, right? They can't wake up because maybe it's their upbringing that's keeping them from waking up, or it could be them stopping it. They probably don't want to get to a point to where they gonna know a lot of shit about who they is and where they come from, so they tend to just ignore it, right? And then you have your people that ain't from over here, so they ain't gonna get nothing because they not supposed to get nothing, and they don't have the mitochondrial DNA. They what I like to call a goofy cell. A goofy cell is basically a motherfucker that don't have no cosmic material. You just a cell. You just a cell going with nothing in it. You know, that's why I like to call them. You know, but yeah, you got your people like that. So people um have their own, perspectives and their own views of this reality. And the main thing we got to do is wake up the rest of the people that's us up to the fact of that this our shit, and our shit was taken advantage of by motherfuckers that looked like us but they wasn't us. That's what we got to do. And it makes it a bit hard because like I just spoke about, it makes it hard when you got motherfuckers. It makes it hard when you got motherfuckers that don't want to listen and that don't want to believe it. So it makes it hard because we ain't worried about the motherfuckers that ain't gonna get it, that don't got our shit. We don't care about them. We just care about the ones that is us, right? Because you got some motherfuckers that's us and they pastors, right? So they all the way in the rabbit hole. They still, you know, going along with this Jesus shit, and the whole time they God, but they don't even know it yet. So it's gonna have to take them to get out their own ways, to get out the shit that they have been taught their whole life. And it's gonna have to be a lot of work that they gonna have to put in to get back to the point of who they really is, right? Because they're gonna have to erase the bullshit out their mind that they have been taught for so long. So we got all that type of shit going on. So it's a lot of things, to this scenario and what we talking about living. A lot of people is living, you know, just to live, and certain people ain't living at all. Certain people is just existing. I'd rather not live at all. I'd rather just exist. Because if I'm just uh choosing just to exist rather than live, then that means I can see, you know, what's really going on and how life should be lived if I'm just existing. So I don't have no care for money. I have no care uh, uh, for anything that's related to living. I have no care for it. Most people call you weird or call you crazy, but it's just you elevating consciously and realizing what the fuck this shit is. I'm not gonna care about something nor put my energy into something that's meant to destroy me. I'm not gonna do that. Right? Because a lot of us talk about being self-aware. A lot of people are not self-aware. If you were self-aware, you would know who you are. Most of the things you do in your life is basically you reenacting something that's gonna help you remember who you are again. Okay, so you having a old ass rifle, right, in your possession. That rifle could be you. Uh, it could be a thing that can help you remember who you are again, as far as a chief and a leader, and as a warrior, right? But if you don't know that it's there as a memory, you ain't gonna even know what the fuck it is, what it is, or what it's even there for. If you ain't aware, of the memory that it holds to it, right? So you have to be self-aware to things and realize who you are and what you are and what you possess. We have to be aware of that. Because like I talked about the cane, right? So you got the unk. The top of the unk represents the womb of the mother, but the womb is really like a cane, right? So the cane is representing the woman's uterus, the womb. That's what the cane represent. So we, as the chiefs on the land, as the men on the land, we get the canes so we can represent the queen of heaven and earth, right? That's why you see Osiris, he got the cane in his hand because that was given to him by the queen of heaven and earth. So that means Osiris gonna basically have to be a chief, you know. And I ain't gonna get into that, but you know, that's what that would have to mean. But um um being self-aware, knowing who you is, and knowing what's going on around you uh, is the most important thing. Um, it's motherfuckers that need to get on board. That's just it. Motherfuckers need to get on board and really realize what's going on. Because if we don't save us, who will? Ain't nobody else gonna come and save us because they don't possess the same connection to the land that we possess. They can only do the work from the physical perspective, but they can't do the spiritual work because they not tied to this shit like we is. So we the one that have to do the spiritual work and have to come down here and do the physical work. We got to do both because it's our job. So you got certain motherfuckers that's from over here that's controlling the information and doing what they doing related to Earth, and then you got motherfuckers that's in the cosmos doing what they doing from a spiritual perspective, as above, so below. You gotta have somebody that's in tune with Earth, so that they can keep everything in check and in harmony. And then you gotta have a motherfucker that's in them cosmos doing what they doing up there. That's gaining the information from the Akashic records so they can bring it back down here and tell everybody what's going on and what took place. So everybody got to play a role. Everybody have a role to play in this shit. Any information you have that is beneficial to the rest of the clan, you got to put that shit out because you may know something that somebody else don't know. Right, but if you keep that shit to yourself and don't say nothing, then you ain't being helpful. You know. So, this is what it is. Well, people just, like I said, just gotta get it. Just gotta, get and catch what's going on and stop playing dumb to shit. Too many motherfuckers playing dumb. Start asking your mother, you know, and your father, or start asking your grandparents about, y'all history and where you really come from. Somebody in your family gonna know. And it's mainly probably gonna be your grandmother. Your grandmother, she like the big chief in the family. She the one that's supposed to hold all the documents, all the receipts of where you come from. That's why she show you the pictures of certain shit, pictures of your grandfather, pictures of how things was uh in past times. All of those are documents and receipts of who you are and where you come from. Nobody grandmother that's in our community has showed you some African shit. You ain't seen none of that. Nobody has seen no shit like that. I don't go fuck who you is. You ain't gonna find none of that shit. You gonna find some shit that's from over here, but you ain't gonna find no shit that's African because you're not African. Because an African is basically a indigenous person to the land. That's really what an African is. But they try to give them another name to try to disguise their true origin. Right? So they call them African, but they really indigenous people. You know. Um, it's also um important for you uh to start studying more shit. When you start studying shit, you gonna figure out what everything really means and how everything's tied back to what we are as a clan, as a tribe. When you start doing your research, right? But you gotta do your research. You gotta look up shit. You know, but I'm about to go ahead and get it off of here. I was told I can go ahead and finish this up. So, uh, that being said, like I always sending peace and love out. This is Chief Silent, Black Hawk, 4 Point Dance with Earth, and I'm out.